striker. Twisting, turning. That's a penalty, is it? No, he's still going. Oh, how about that? How about that?
Harry got into the penalty area. Here he is. And then Giroud. What a goal. Brilliantly worked. Fantastically finished.
Here's Ramsey. And Alexis Sanchez. Great footwork. 3-0. Liverpool blown away. A 3-goal, 8-minute Arsenal blast. Alexis blocked by Newcastle defender. Still not clear. Wow, what a volley. Where others failed, Ozil has succeeded. Well done, Arteta. Plenty of hits here. Yes! Arsenal have their breakthrough. Mikel Arteta. They deserve it. Oh, they're behind again. It's amazing. It's Aaron Ramsey. That's the response of Arsenal. Andy Iwobi, nicely done. Brilliantly done. Bayern Walcott. Sensational Arsenal goal. Is that a handball? No. Nothing the play can do. Great, what a goal! Arsenal have made it 3-0. Jack Wilshere with an absolute thunderbolt.
Hello and welcome to the Clock End Talk, an Arsenal podcast. I am your host, Tez. You can get me at GoonerTez. You can get us Clock End Talk at @clockend_talk. It's a very short team this week. I don't know if nobody wanted to join us or what the fucking go was, but hey, it's only me and Tony. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, you got the star man, so I don't need backing dancers. Sometimes it's nice to let them come along, but this week you just got the star of the show.
We've done plenty, just me and you in the past anyway, mate. So Russ says, evening chaps. How are you, Russ? Thanks for joining us, and thank you everybody for joining us in the live chat as well. You can get us on YouTube, Periscope, and a couple other places. Facebook, I think it also goes out live. Firstly, I apologise if I am coming across a little bit echoey. I'm down in the man cave. It is absolutely bucketing down rain. I'm currently in floods at the moment. I've got all the kids home, so I was like, you know what? I'm just coming down here. I do have the game on in the background, which I don't think that's a real good idea. But anyway, here we are. Tony, another week, another loss, and this time people could say that this one hurt the most because it's Burnley, who are below us on the table and really haven't done much in the last probably 2 transfer windows that I can recall. So we put up a lineup. I'll be honest. I looked at the lineup and I thought to myself, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. I can handle that. Gabriel, he's been good. The only El Nani, and as Darren praises every week, El Nani has been well when he has played. Willian was probably the only one I was a bit sus on, but it's come to shove now where Willian just seems to start in Arteta's plans. It's just that's the way Arteta wants. Aubameyang up front, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Your thoughts?
I didn't see the point in Xhaka and El Neni. You're going to have loads of the ball against Burnley at home. So you want, for me, the most creative players. So for me, Danny should have played. But I mean, apart from that, there wasn't too much to moan about. I'm not hugely sold on this idea of Laka at 10, but I guess you look around and there's probably no one to fill in that slot, especially, I mean, with Pepe out. I mean, the players you can possibly name are that, as much as I'm a huge Smith Rowe fan, it may have I mean, he can have an argument to play at 10, but probably too early, too soon into his comeback. So, I mean, you look at who's available to play across the 3 behind Aubameyang, and you go Lacazette potentially, if you count him as a 10. Saka on the left's pretty much nailed that down, and Willian, there's no one else really available. But yeah, just behind them I was a bit concerned. I mean, again, I don't know what Ainsley has to do to get a game, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't catastrophic, but it's not what I would have done. But only 1 or 2 players I would have changed.
Yeah. I'm just going through how do we even tackle this match? You know, it's not easy coming across Burnley and losing the game. I thought I led the boys on the Thursday Night Live. I was thinking a 2-1 win to Arsenal, and this may set us up for a good couple of games coming in. Look, we'll talk about some key points, obviously. Look, for me, there wasn't a lot to really talk about in that first half. I think there was a Lacazette miss early in the piece. I seen a lot of people complaining about that. For me, it was a cross from Aubameyang onto Williams' head and then back into Lacazette. I don't know if you remember it, Tony, but I wasn't crucifying the bloke.
Well, I mean, it's a miss you see Lacazette make time and time again. That one, you go, yeah, it's a miss, should have done better. The other miss is a disgrace.
Yeah, I was going to get onto that one.
Yeah.
Go on. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, the first one, as I said, it's the fact he misses the ball basically, or doesn't make proper contact with the ball, and you've seen him do it so many times. It seems all our chances always fall to him, and everyone tells me he's great, and I'm still yet to see it. It's funny, I actually watched a game at Schwind's house, and he saw the level to which I moan about Lacazette, and and he was like, "You've been like this since day one," and I said, "Yeah, I've never ever been a fan, and in the first year when everyone was loving him, I used to have to say I didn't rate him like quietly because it was like the unsaid, and you got hammered. I remember if you said anything against him, it was like you were public enemy number one because he was our new £50 million boy or 55 million, whatever it was. But just, yeah, I mean, them chances, like, especially the way we're playing at the moment, the form we're in, we haven't led a game since, fuck knows. I actually can't remember the last time we led a league game. Probably was Man United. You've got to put them in. Like, you have to score chances like that. You can't miss them. And that's it. I mean, yeah, we didn't do a grave amount in the first half, but any decent chances all fell to us. The possession was all with us. If someone had a gun to your head and said, name who's going to score next, you would have said us. But hey ho.
Yeah, look, I follow as you know, I'm a bit of a gambler, and I follow the odds, and when we're watching live, they put up the odds on who's going to score next, and it was Arsenal the whole game. So it's just absolutely crazy. We go into half time, and it's obviously 0-0, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, here we go again. Like, I just had this the Leicester City game all over again. For me, people know, since my health, my memory isn't the greatest. Wasn't real great to start with, to be honest, but it's worse now. But Tony, I had that again, and I'm thinking to myself, we're going to lose this game. We're going to fucking lose this game. I can see it. And we're going into half time, and I'm like, here we go again. I'm watching the WhatsApp chat on the Clock End Talk Patreon chat, and I'm like, they're all talking about it and going, well, here we go again as well. And I had no confidence, mate, going into second half.
Yeah, I think you've just hit the nail on the head. I think this is exactly what confidence and mentality does to you. Because, as I said, we're much the better team. I don't think they even had a shot on or off target in the first half. They didn't have... I know they had one where Chris Wood should have scored, to be fair. But if anyone was going to score, it was going to be us. But, as I said, if we'd have won the last 4 or 5 games, and I know if my aunt was my uncle and all that bollocks, but our mentality would have been different. It would have been, we're on top. We've missed, like, Lacazette's missed at least 2 chances. Other players probably have as well. We'll go on and win this game 2 or 3-0. But the mentality and the mindset we're in at the moment, as soon as we haven't scored and we've missed a couple of chances, you kind of think, fuck, we're not going to make any more. We don't make a lot of chances, and we've missed 2 good ones already. And that's it. We're in trouble now. And I think, as I said, that's all mindset and mentality. And to be honest, I think the players have the same mindset at the moment. That's why I think taking the lead, as I said, with either of them lack of chances or any of the others, would have made a big difference.
We come into the second half. obviously confidence is really, really down. You can see it in the players. And I'm going to talk this up a little bit. And it's not because he's my favourite player and people know that he is. But look, I'll be upfront and honest. Granit Xhaka, that was absolutely fucking stupidity to its finest level. Guendouzi done a similar thing. Pepe also done a similar thing. And now we have a third player in... What are we going to say? A season and a half, within two players within a couple of weeks of each other, and then Guendouzi in the last season. But Guendouzi was frozen out and loaned out very quickly. What I'm getting at is there is just a lot of frustration in these players. Something's not fucking right, Tony.
Well, I mean, Guendouzi's was completely different. It was after the whistle. He never got sent off. There was no suspension, blah, blah, blah. This is undefendable. There's no... I hammered Pepe when he done it, and people going, oh, but he played well. No, you didn't. You cost us the game, because it don't matter what we was doing at 0-0. The moment we go down to 10 men, the game completely changes, and that was purely Pepe's fault in that game. And the same has to be said for Granit. To be honest, the foul he made on, I think it was McNeil, was a good foul. They were breaking. Maybe didn't have to do it, but okay, no problems. And then he's got involved for no reason. But Burnley know exactly what they're doing. They're under the cosh. They've been 11 men behind the ball for however long. I think it was about 15 minutes into the second half. And they basically haven't been out of their half yet. So they've tried to get him into a little... They actually weren't even trying to get him sent off. They were trying to slow the game down. So it's just been wave after wave of attack. And McNeil thinks, if I have a little bite at him here, the free kick doesn't get taken like quickly, and then the tempo of the game drops and we can reset and get ourselves going. Xhaka bites at McNeil. I don't really know why. Then I don't know what he's doing with Westwood. Like, Westwood, one, is about 4'3" and also has nothing to do with it. He's come in as more of a peacemaker. You can see there's no aggression from Westwood at all. Why grab it? Like, what are you doing? And what benefit does grabbing someone around the throat have anyway? It's something that annoys me anyway. Like, either push him in the chest, or if you're going to do something, do it properly. Grabbing someone around the throat is a red card, but there's no reason for it. It does nothing. Don't even fucking hurt them. Like, it's just so stupid. And the momentum at that time was all ours. I actually think that 15 or so, we looked pretty good. Like I said, we were moving the ball a bit quicker, which I think has been a problem. We've been having possession, but it's been slow and laboured, and obviously everyone always talks about backwards and sideways. But I thought we actually looked, I'm not going to say incisive, but we looked like it was wave after wave of attack. And as I said, they were flagging, they were struggling, which is why they were trying to buy free kicks. And Granit's just been played like a fiddle.
Yeah, you're going to hear some rain in the background, and I do apologise for that. Yeah, look, it is absolutely, as you said, mate. There's no excuses for it, and I don't understand why he did it. I'm funny enough, it's just come up back on the TV now, and I'm watching it as you were talking, and you described it to a T, and I don't get it, and I don't get Pepe's one either, and Guendouzi last year. I'll throw him in the mix, even though I agree it was a different circumstances, but. What the fuck's going on with these players? Like, how many players in the Premier League and how many of these incidents do you see? How many of these incidents have you seen this season where a player has grabbed another player around the neck, apart from two Arsenal players?
Well, Pepe didn't. He headbutted him. It's different. Like,
Yeah,
so then it comes down to how many violent conduct red cards are there, and I can't be asked checking, but there'll be a lot.
Yeah, okay, maybe there is. Maybe because it's just Arsenal. I'm looking at it thinking, well, fucking pull your head in, lads. Like, what's going on? So he goes off. He's gone for 3 games. Yeah. Probably a good thing, to be honest. It really is. Do you think when he does come back, like, I'm just thinking to myself, I know what Arteta's like. Well, we've seen what Arteta's like in the past, and I was talking to Liam about this stuff yesterday on the WhatsApp chat. Is There's players being freezed out, or they just don't fit Arteta's plans, or I don't know what it is, Tony. But does Granite come back out of this? He's in Arteta's plans.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, no one's. The stat came up during the game that we've had, I think, 7 red cards under Arteta, and the next most was either 3 or 5. I can't remember if it was 3 teams on 5 or 5 teams on 3. But I don't think anyone has been frozen out after a red card. That remains to be seen with Pepe, because now he's back. We'll see what happens. But he's still played in all the Europa League games, so every game he's been allowed to play in, he's played in.
He's played.
So I don't think we've ever seen anyone frozen out after a red card. Because I think of the 7, off the top of my head, Luiz had a couple. I know one was at Chelsea, one was at City. Both last man tackles. He's obviously been back in. I can't remember. Aubameyang was one at Crystal Palace away. Again, he came back in. As I said, I can't remember. Obviously, Pepe, Xhaka, and then there's 2 others, which I can't remember off the top of my head, and I've done zero research, but I can't think of anyone being frozen out. So,
Yeah, no, I'm hopeless too. I've done fuck all research. I just seen a few people talking about it that, be another player frozen out. So he goes off. That changes the game for you?
Massively. Look, I mean, last time I spoke about a sending off on here. Oh, that was the other one. Oh, no, it wasn't. Yeah, last time I spoke about a sending off on here, I got accused of trying to pretend I had a crystal ball and can see the future. But I mean, it's just obvious. You have more chance of winning the game with 11 than you do with 10. And it's not even that. It's
what do you mean the crystal ball? Was was it?
That's where that comes from. Was Chelsea last year?
Okay.
But it's not even that. It took 5 or so minutes by the time they'd finished fighting. The ref went and looked at the monitor, and then Granit trudged off after arguing about something else. Obviously, he originally got booked. So it's the momentum. Yes, obviously, it changes the game, us being 10v11, but it completely killed any momentum as well.
Ceballos comes on, Lacazette goes off. Then we've got a couple of yellow cards there as well, Bellerin and El Neni. And there, you're thinking.
Well, El Neni's one's interesting because a lot of people think it should have been a red and think it was similar to Granit's. I don't think he's trying to hold him off. I'd be very disappointed if it was given as a red. But as I said, I watched this at Schwinn's house, and no one's picked up on it. The ref completely ignored the rules in booking him because he went to VAR, they checked it, and somehow came up with a booking, which they're not allowed to do. So no one's picked up on that. I don't know when the rules checked. Well, they didn't change. The refs just doing what they want. And of course, it's not the reason we lost the game, but it's getting stupid. The ref is literally just making up as he goes along.
It's another frustrated player, Tony. I never. El Neni pushed. You could say he ran into him. The other player ran into him, or El Neni give him a bit of a shove. It's like I almost think it is. It should have been a red for me. I was like, well, here we go. Here's another red.
I see it completely differently. You can, and he's a blocker at a corner. For me, it comes with neck/head area, which is always going to be contentious. But that's the issue. That's not frustration. I think if you look at every corner, there'll be someone with their arm out and they'll push sort of chest high, or they'll have so you can't be run across. And El Neni's arms may be a little too high, and it hits his neck or his face. And as I said, I don't think it's a sending off, but I can see why people think it is. But for me, that's something that happens at 100 corners, and maybe he's got the height of his arm slightly wrong. I don't think that's a frustration. I don't think he's lashed out. I know intent doesn't come into the rules of football, so I'm not using that as a defense of why he shouldn't have been sent off, but there was zero intent.
Yeah, maybe. It's. I agree. It didn't change the game. It wasn't going to affect the game in any way. We conceded. A lot of fucking Spurs fans and United fans having a crack here because Aubameyang finally gets a goal. Very unlucky. We conceded on a set piece in the 73rd minute, no?
Yeah, great ball from Westwood, and I mean I don't know if it made blind bit of difference, but most teams had their striker marking just in front of 2 or 3 yards in front of the front post at corners, and when they're both on the pitch, Lacazette does that job. Obviously with Lacazette going off, Aubameyang went into that area, and I feel like it's something because he's been playing wide left, and there's usually been another striker. It's something he hasn't done for a while, but I mean, I don't know if it would have made much difference. The ball was very, very good, but that's what Westwood does, and that's what Burnley do. I think Westwood scored two direct corners. I think he's the only current player to have done it in the Premier League. He puts the ball in a very dangerous area, and look, Aubameyang can't leave it. I think it's just one of them things. If he'd got more of a touch, it goes over, and it is what it is.
I'm just trying. I am muting myself because of this rain. Is shocking. Once again, I do apologise. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but fucking hell. Do you want to do a 3-2-1? No, because we did skip a couple of games ago. So I'm quite happy to skip this because I'm like, yeah, I got nothing.
No, I mean, yeah, look, it's difficult because I think in isolation, if you look at this game in isolation, I don't actually think we played bad, but it's not in isolation. It's off the back of one win in however many games, no goals scored, or one goal scored from open play since October. But I mean, I don't think the performance on its own was horrendous. I thought Aubameyang looked a little bit more like his normal self, a bit more sprightly, a bit more confident. I mean, I still think tactically we're doing some ridiculous stuff, but yeah, in isolation, I don't think it was horrible. But then if you're looking at individual players, I don't really think anyone stood out. I mean, yeah, it's just is what everyone's sort of done as expected. Hector's still shit. Lacazette still can't score. I thought KT was fantastic for about until the sending off, and then I thought he was shit. Like if you'd have asked me after 60 minutes or whatever it was, he was free by an absolute distance. Like I wouldn't even want to name anyone else. And then I don't know what it was. He just fell apart. But then the whole team did. So
that's right. Okay, look, let's wrap this up. I'm not really going to talk too much more about the game unless you want to. We're lost. We're sitting now still 15th on the ladder. Couple of tough games coming up because Southampton are on a really good roll. We pop up with them, and who else we got? Everton, I think, are in there. Anyway, any else on Any else on that game before we go on, or?
No, the only thing I was going to say with Granit's red card, I mean, I know most people won't want him to come back in, but he basically, like Pepe it seems like about 3 months ago that he got sent off, and now he's only just allowed back. Granit's will be done by next Saturday, because we've got tomorrow, then we've got the game at the weekend, and then we've got City in the Cup. So Granit, literally a suspension will last 9 days, and the only thing that's annoying about, well, not the only thing, but the main thing that's annoying about it is when you've got 3 games in 9 days, you'd like some rotation, and at the moment we can't have any because obviously Partey is injured. We haven't been given any time frame on his return. We've been told it wasn't as bad as before, but that's it. So then we've got El Neni and Ceballos, and then okay, maybe you can throw Willock in there, but there's still only 3. I mean, is he going to chuck Ainsley in there? Who knows? Hector's suspended tomorrow, so does he go Cedric right back and Ainsley in the middle, or does he stick with Ceballos and El Neni? We just haven't got many options there, especially with other absentees. So even though we're only missing him for 9 days, whereas Pepe's has probably been more like 27 or 21, it's annoying that it's a time we would need to rotate and we can't. And that's another reason you said earlier, do you think he'll be frozen out? I can't remember who our game is after City, but I would expect Granit to probably come straight back in because the other 2 or 3 midfielders would have had to play 3 games in 9 days.
Chelsea, 27th of December.
Oh, I thought there was one between the Carabao, the Cup. And
could be. I'm just looking.
No, there might not be actually, but usually you have the Cup and then there's a game and then it's Christmas. But the calendar's obviously different this year. I know in a normal year, the Cup isn't the last game before Christmas, but as I said, the the calendar's fucked up this year, so maybe it is.
Okay, we'll be back right after this one. Drop some questions in if you're in the live chat. Look, it's going to be a very quick podcast this week because it's only me and Tony. Yeah, we got plenty to say, I guess, but what we do say is right, Tony? Okay, let's play this. I'll be back.
For Gooners everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. For match highlights, interviews, and the best Arsenal videos and podcasts. Download the free Gunners app now from the App Store and Google Play.
We're back, and MAA Gunner just said Eddie got sent off against Leicester, Tony.
You know what? I was going to say when I said that, MAA Gunner must not be listening because I know he remembers random shit the same as I do. But again, another player that didn't get frozen out.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, no, he doesn't start regularly, but he does come on.
No, but he wasn't before that.
Yeah,
he came on as a
present.
sub in that game.
Yeah. I'm going to now. I've got an interesting inbox, Tony, and I can let you look at it later. I'm just trying to find the cunt now. He wanted your thoughts on some stuff. This is great fucking podcasting.
Yeah. You know, when you played that video, that's probably when you should have started loading stuff.
Yeah, I was. Hang on, I'll just grab it. While I'm there, though, we'll just go to, because I've got a different screen up, so we'll just go to these couple of questions first, and then we'll finish on it. It's all around Arteta and things, people just wanting your thoughts. But anyway, let's continue on the questions that come through after the game, so because they're based around the game. Golson fan, he's been with us for a long time. Golson fan, what are the chances of us actually any brilliant players anytime soon? Brilliant as in young, tenacious and clever. Tenacious. Not experienced, calm, or fucking friend of the fans.
But no, I mean, this is silly again. We're in a negative mood and a negative spiral at the moment, but I didn't see a single person when we signed Partey moaning about it.
Yeah, no, it's a good sign. Still reckon it is.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You're saying what are the chances of us getting this player, like this type of player, but the whole window, every time we signed anyone, there was, I mean, people were delighted about Gabriel and rightly so. People were delighted about Partey and rightly so. Okay, they weren't over the moon about William, but there wasn't too many like fucking shit, like fuck off. There's somehow I'm not too happy.
A lot of them now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So the question is based now. But every time we sign a player, it looks like good business.
Gurner Rick says, "Why is Granite such a cunt?" He's a fiery bloke, isn't he? Like, I don't know if it's the pressure of he's a leader at the club and he feels. I don't know. I can't make excuses. It's fucking stupid.
Don't defend him.
No, I'm not. But like, I just trying to get in his head of what the fuck you're thinking. Like, I don't understand. Like, you lash out at things, you know. Like, I got nothing. Don't know.
No, I can't answer the question. He is a cunt. There's no.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, sometimes something happens and you can go, but this, but that. And I'm remaining consistent because I've done the same with Pepe. Like, I can't. It's just a stupid action. Yeah. And you've been suckered in. They knew what they were doing. Both Leeds and Burnley knew what they were doing, and we've been stupid enough to fall into the trap.
Yeah, no, I get that. Thoughts on that new young goalkeeper, Renison?
He hasn't had to do much. He's ridiculously calm on the ball. Do you know what's interesting? This is going away from the question slightly, and I'll come back to it. We looked like we were shitting ourselves playing out from the back the other day. Like, looked scared and nervy. Them same players, like the video has been going around of Aubameyang's goal against City, the first one, and they're like, "Oh, why can't we play like this?" And it's like, it's so different, even though it's the same players basically. We get the ball at the back, and I don't look. The only difference really is Leno and Martinez, and I don't want to say it's all down to that, but the ball goes back to Leno, and he automatically looks nervy, and he tries to force a pass or rush a pass. because he's nervous with it, and then the confidence or lack of breeds from there. With Runnison, he's the exact opposite. He's the calmest man on earth. He doesn't care what's going on. I'm not too comfortable with that. Yeah, so look, people blamed him for the goals on Thursday. I'll be honest, I watched Thursday, but I didn't. It was, look, there's a difference between fully watching a game and just watching it. Like,
yeah, it's on in the background. I did the same.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say it's in the background because, you know what I mean? It was in front of me. I wasn't focused on anything else, but I was with friends. I was talking at the same time, like having conversations. Whereas usually when I watch football, obviously if I'm there, I'm just solely staring at football, and any conversation I have with my friends about the game we're watching, we don't stand at the games and say, "Oh, what do you think of Coronation Street?" That will mean nothing to you. What do you think of What do you think of Neighbours?
Yeah.
So it was like, so where I didn't like go into detail with mistakes, and so maybe he was at fault for. I mean, he definitely wasn't at fault for the first goal. It was a rocket. The second one, I think, would be harsh to blame him. But as I said, I've not watched it back and seen it from 15 angles because I was just like, it's a dead rubber. We're already through. I think we were 4-1 up at the time, and it was just like, you know what I mean? It's one of them things. It wasn't a grave error. Like, you look at him and go, how have you let that in?
Mate, I look, I had it on in the background. I was doing other stuff at the time. Wasn't really paying attention. I seen us up, and I'm like, sweet, boys have, romped this in, like, good on yous. But then, I'll be honest, I seen a couple of the goals concede, and I'm like, fuck, we're always conceding goals. That was my first thought, was, can't even keep a clean sheet. What the fuck? That was the only thing I thought. I didn't look back at whose error it was or what it was. My focus was just like, fuck, here we go again. We always concede goals. Why can't we just get a fucking clean sheet?
Yeah, see, look, I don't. The Europa League group stage anyway, but especially when we're already through and it's a dead rubber, like, they're the games you have to have fun
wasn't bothered. Yeah, I wasn't overly fussed, but it was just like 2 against the team I never fucking seen or heard of.
Yeah, but as I said, for me, just have fun with them games. I mean, look, if you win a league game 10-9, you think, okay, we've won, but there's things to worry about. In the Europa League, like, as I said, a group stage, a dead rubber, I want to see a 10-9. I'd like. Do you know what I mean? If you scratch a 1-0 in the group stage in the Europa League, like, if we win that game 1-0, you don't, like, with a 90th minute winner, you don't come away thinking, oh, fucking hell, we kept the clean sheet against Dundalk. You go, oh, they were playing part-timers, he's a farmer, he's a butcher, blah, blah, blah. And we took to the 90th minute. So for me, the Europa League, just have fun with it. If you're going to make your mistakes, make them there. Try people out of position or in different positions. Let them free, let them have fun. And that's what the Europa League is for me. I'm not going to go, oh, fucking hell, we conceded. Like, so I don't really care.
Where are we? MAA Gunner. How and where did it all go wrong? No one expected it to get this bad, whether you like Arteta or not.
It's a good question. I was actually kind of thinking about it today. I was thinking, like, when we went to Anfield, which was the 3rd game of the season, there was people realistically thinking we were going to win. Like, and I was like, oh, we can win. I said, we probably won't, but, like, it's not a huge shock if we go to Anfield and win. And that was people's thoughts on it. If you said to any Arsenal fan now, we're going to Anfield tomorrow, they go, oh, I'll take a 2-0 loss because it's not 4-0. Like, do you know what I mean? How in that small, in reality, it's a small time frame, have we gone from, oh, we could win here. I know we're not going to Anfield anytime soon. I don't know why it was Anfield that came into my head, probably because they won the league.
You had to pick the fucking one that we don't play. Chelsea and Man City come up before them.
Yeah, no, but I was thinking that the Anfield stuff was when we went to Anfield not too long ago when we was apparently good, and it was like, oh yeah, we could win here. To now, as I said, if we got done 4-0, no one would go, fuck me, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I know. I have thought about this myself. Where did it go wrong all season? I presume it's it's based on the season, not about the game. For me, I looked back and I thought, look, I was thinking pretty confident with at the start of the season, I think I did put us up to. I think I put us fifth, which is a big improvement on last year. I didn't have us in fourth or third like you and Schwinn in our predictions, but I thought Partey. Don't get me wrong, great signing. I think he's a brilliant signing for the future. My problem with that signing was it was on deadline day, so like you had your team kind of sorted, but then you bring him in, and keep in mind we'd already played a couple of games, so it was it's not like a full preseason. Like I'm not saying that that's where it's gone wrong, but that's just one little piece of the jigsaw that I think that was managed badly. Like, you're going to get this player. Fucking bloke on Twitter, AFC Bell, knew you were going to get this player at the start of the fucking window. So why not just get him at the start of the window? Bring him into your team. Let him have a good couple of weeks training, good couple of, and get used to the team. And plan around him, because that's that's your main piece of the jigsaw. So that was just very odd for me. Look, there's obviously a lot of other things where it's gone wrong, but that was one that stuck out for me, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that's anything to do with where it went wrong, but it is bizarre. I mean, we do it quite often, and I was speaking to someone that used to work for Everton, and they said the amount of signings they missed out on because the old owner didn't want to pay wages throughout the summer. So they'd wait until players were meant to be back, and then someone had nipped in the meantime. I'm not saying Arsenal do that. I don't know, but it fucking feels like we do. It feels like
maybe
never just
maybe it's something
like,
like that.
When was the last time we sort of, at the start of the window, we was not, obviously I don't expect all signings to come day one of the window and then you're done, but when was the last time we made a statement and on the first day of pre-season the new signing was there? And I don't mean a sort of B or C grade sign. I mean the one big name you're going to get in the window.
Was it? I remember seeing Lacazette at Sydney FC in Australia. So he was there for pre-season.
Yeah, so that's probably the one.
That's the only one. I'm just trying to stretch me head back. Tierney was very
I think before
late.
that you could, and I'm not saying he's a star, but in terms of the size of the signing in that window, you could argue Granit was done early because he was done before the Euros. I'm sure.
Yeah, he was done early, Granit,
and then Mustafi was done really late. But I mean, again, the point remains that we just don't get stuff done. I mean, and even with Granit, you can say it was done early, but he still wasn't ready to start the season because he was at the Euros. Obviously, that's not the club's fault, but I just can't remember the last time we had, as I said, maybe Lacazette, and I'm being unfair, but still 1 in 5 or 6 years is not good enough. That you've had them ready to go. Even last year, the window closed before the season started to try and incentivize you to get the signings done. And still, by the first day of the season, Pepe wasn't ready, Danny wasn't ready. They both came on for cameos on the first game of the season away at Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? No one was ready. It was just like, what are you doing? Why do you always do this?
Yeah, but remember the Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he was, before he went to Liverpool, he played 2 games with Arsenal. It was also fucking unhappy. Like, okay, we're going back a couple of seasons, but like, it's just that bad, stinky fucking shit vibe around transfers and business, even players going out. It's like, well, you're not going to play there. You're going to play on the wing. If you don't like it, fuck off. I'll play 2 games with you. Now I'm going to fuck off. Like,
yeah, so I mean, look, I'm obviously quite close to the Oxlade-Chamberlain situation, and it was a bit. No one came in. Well, he refused 2 other moves, and Liverpool came in late. There was nothing Arsenal could have done about that. They shouldn't have played him, 100%. But in terms of the lateness in the window, there was Arsenal didn't do anything wrong apart from playing him.
Okay. But yeah, I'll just go on out. We just can't get stuff done in windows, and we just can't have the team ready. Like, whether that's a big thing of what's gone wrong, I don't know.
No, I don't put it down to that, but it's still something. It's an issue. I just don't connect the issues.
Yeah. Arsenal says his name is is all about class, at all about class. And he's just put a picture here, 12 hours, 32 minutes without a Premier League goal from open play.
That's wrong.
Well, it's a stat that's come down from the Premier League Opta Sports. So Opta Sports are renowned for fucking bad stats.
They I don't know if I mentioned this last week. They sent the wrong, because basically the way it works is they get sent all the details and they distribute them to like Sky Sports, BBC, probably Optus and whatnot. And they sent the wrong Liverpool team out last week against Wolves. Was it Wolves? Yeah, Wolves.
Wolves,
yeah. So every broadcaster said, "Oh, this is a Liverpool team that was starting," and it was wrong because Optus sent the wrong team out.
Fucking idiots. Oh, the internet company. They do a good job. They've done a really good job with the Premier League. I'm happy with it. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked the stat. I'm not sure.
Gabriel scored against Wolves, the header, and I mean, it might have come loosely from a corner, but it wasn't direct from a cross in. I think it went short, came back.
I was going to say, you ain't fucking stretching a long bowie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to say. If you're counting, even most people wouldn't count scoring a header from a corner as a set piece. They would say that's open play, and I agree with that. So then you can't come like fucking. Oh, it was 10 minutes after we had a corner, so it doesn't count as open play.
Mm. Yeah, I was just trying to think. Like, that was Europa League. Yeah, I don't think it's a big issue. I get the stat, and I get that it's negative times, and people are going to drum up a few stats to make things look worse. I don't think that's a massive issue. But
well, to be fair, for me, it is an issue. But this week actually is, as I said, what I said in isolation, this week wasn't terrible, because you look at other games like Chelsea, like Tottenham and Villa, not so much Leicester, but Wolves even. I know we scored against Wolves, but we didn't create a thing in any of them games apart from the goal against Wolves. So that's 3 games, and I don't think we made any chances. This week we did have chances, and I can sit here and say we should have scored this, we should have scored this, we should have done better. That final ball could have been better, and that. So the not scoring in 12 hours is, or I mean, as I said, it's wrong. But even if it was right, it's definitely a worry, the lack of goals we've scored. But I think this week's probably not the best week to highlight it.
Okay. He goes on and says, only positive of this game is that Aubameyang ended his goal drought. The work Arteta, but in training to help Aubameyang score a goal, would work like a charm. Not sure why people are saying Arteta. He's taken the piss massively. And he's obviously an Aussie because he's sharing off the sports stuff. People keep saying we shouldn't play crosses into the box, but Aubameyang scored using his head. I think Arteta's philosophy of putting at least 40 crosses in a game works. What do you guys think of Aubameyang's goal? And he's put a picture up here. And actually, I did see this stat. No, I didn't. He's referring back in 2017 when we played Burnley. We beat them 2-1. Shots 24, Burnley 13. Shots on target, both nil. I'm just trying to find what he's actually talking about here. Yeah. 20. So I think he's talking about lots of crosses, obviously, out of them 2017. Fuck me, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
We won 2-1 without having a shot on target.
Yeah, no shots on target.
No, I don't need to do any research. That didn't happen. I don't even need to
target 0. So what he's saying is all the shots were crosses. The 24 shots were crosses, and we must have scored 2 of them.
No, because there'd still be shots on target. The only way you'd have that with no shots on target would be own goals, and I know we haven't beaten Burnley with 2 own goals.
They fucked that up. That's football.
I think off the top of my head, 2017 we won 2-1 with both teams scored penalties. It was when Granit got sent off. But I mean, Sanchez dinked the penalty down the middle and it went in, so it was definitely on target.
Sanchez, late penalty in the 98th minute. Granit got a red card. Mustafi got a goal in the 59th minute.
Yeah, and they scored a penalty as well
They
in
scored
about the
one in
90th
the
minute, and Wenger
93rd
got
minute.
sent off and told Anthony Taylor he was a disgrace to his
Ah, that's
federation.
right.
I remember the
that.
game,
I
but
do too now.
this is what I'm saying. Like, so
Yeah.
I know that we had shots on target.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah, we would have. Yeah. That's see, memory's not too bad. Anyway, people are saying we shouldn't play crosses into the box. Aubameyang scored using his head. I think Arteta philosophy putting at least 40 crosses in works. What do you guys think of Aubameyang's goal? I think the whole thing's a piss take.
I'm going to ignore
honest.
the obviously sarcastic end of the question. I mean, I still think our philosophy of putting 1 million crosses into the box is ridiculous. But here we are.
Yeah. Last one, hack on last, and before I get to some live questions, and then I've got a DM as well that I want you to answer. We'll leave that last. What is Arteta given the chance that Arsenal was Arteta given the chance at Arsenal too early? Should we waited for him after he got some experience? But hold your thoughts on that, because I want to come back to that later, because we're going to finish on that. I'm just going to go through some live questions. Russ says Torreira might be sent back to Arsenal in January. Do you think he would be an asset in the second half of the season, Tony? How's he going over there at Atletico Madrid? You watch a bit of Spain football.
As I said, there's the room. As Russ said, there's a rumour they're going to send him back. They want to terminate his loan. Obviously, I don't know the terms and conditions of the agreement between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid, and if they're able to terminate the loan. But it's an interesting one. Can he help us later in the season where we have to find more players to not register because he's not homegrown? So it makes our squad even bigger, unless we get some outs, which I can't really see at the moment, looking at anyone going out. So there's that problem. And
but
it doesn't matter. He's not in the squad, so it doesn't feel like it doesn't free up a space. And I don't think he'll go anyway. But even if he did, it doesn't free up a space. So and also, I mean, the thing is with Torreira, I don't think anyone doubts his ability too much, but he's not good enough on the ball. And if Arteta's going to want us playing out from the back, which I don't say that as a negative, because it can work if you do it well, and we've done it well towards the back end of the season. But in all honesty, in that philosophy, El Nenny's a better player, and anyone that listens regularly knows I do not rate El Nenny one bit. But if someone's going to have the ball rolled to them under pressure on their edge of their own box, I'd rather it be El Nenny than Torreira. Look, if someone asked me who the better player was, for me, Torreira's levels and levels and levels ahead of him. But for the way that Arteta seems to want us to play, I think El Nenny's probably a better fit.
Oh, little Nenny, eh? He like the bloke in the relay team. He just passed the baton to and hope for the fucking best. Brian says people talk about these younger players being influenced and looking up to the leaders such as Luiz and Ozil. Surely they are wise enough to be their own person and see others for what they are. Young blokes are funny though, and young blokes coming into a big club like Arsenal can play little games on you, like egos and things like that, Tony.
It's not even that. I would want to be Ozil. Won the World Cup, widely regarded as, maybe not now, but a few years ago, as the best 10 in the world. Fucking damn right I'd look up to him. Like, look, I think the question, I don't know, and I don't want to accuse, was it Brian, of anything, but it sounds like that's coming from a position of he thinks Ozil's in the wrong, which is fair enough. I have my opinion, he can have his. But any young player who gets to play with someone who's been seen as world-class, potentially the best in their position, a World Cup winner, you think just at Arsenal, 4-time FA Cup winner, if I'm a 17-year-old kid or a Saka, Nketiah, Gabby, Martinelli, any of them, damn right I'm looking up to Ozil. Like, oh, you've been at Real Madrid and played with Cristiano Ronaldo? Yeah, you're cool. Like, I want to be like you. You've been at Real Madrid and you've lifted the World Cup. That's not a weak mentality. Would you want him to follow? A guy who's like nothing. I like Socrates, but who'd you prefer to be like, Socrates or Ozil? I mean, you can put any player in that. I said Socrates was the first name that came to my head, but okay, who do you want to be like, Ozil or Bellerin? Or, do you know what I mean? Of course you're going to look up to him. It's nature.
Yeah, that's right.
I bet you find the damn sight of the Man United squad look up to Pogba because he's been there, done it. He's won leagues in other countries. He came through the United system. He's lifted the World Cup. So people can think Pogba's a dickhead all they want. I'm telling you, the kids at United will look up to Paul Pogba.
Since you brought up his name, Man United aren't renewing his contract. Is that somebody Arsenal go for?
I mean, Man United. It's not that he said. Well, his agent said he wants out. There's no way they'll let him run his contract down. So he'll be available either this window or next. Actually, Swin asked me this on Sunday when I was at his house. I think Paul Pogba is incredible, but he annoys me more than any other player on earth. I think he has absolutely every attribute you could want. He's quick, he's strong, he can beat a man, his range of passes is insane. He's a very good aerial presence, he's got an engine, he can get up and down. My problem is he shows one of them things a week. If he could pull it all together, and he has done very occasionally, the guy should be argued about as one of the best midfielders in the world. He should be challenging for Ballon d'Ors with the ability he has. But he's not. And if someone can unlock that, they've got a hell of a player. It won't happen in England. And unfortunately for him, I don't think it will ever happen. I think you're just going to get, what do they call it? Like when you shine brightly sort of every now and then. Like a shooting star. You rarely ever see them, but they're fucking fantastic when you do. And I think that's what Pogba's going to be. So I wouldn't take him, especially not with the baggage and the money and the media attention that comes with him. But that's not me saying I don't rate him, because honestly, I think he's one of the most complete players around.
Brian says, for good or bad, maybe this is why some of our youth players are a bit weak, not encouraged to be independently minded. So it was a follow-on from his.
Yeah, but I don't think looking up to someone, everyone looks up to someone. Look, the amount of kids that grow up looking up to their dad, who's probably half an alcoholic, works 40 hours doing probably a shit job for not much money, but they're their kid's hero, and that's fine. And I was the same. I looked up to my dad, who'd never done anything spectacular. So why does it make you weak to look up to someone? And again, if I could be more like my dad or more like Mesut Ozil, I'm picking Ozil. And there's no disrespect to my dad, but he works for a chauffeur company. Mesut Ozil won the World Cup. What would you choose?
Yeah, exactly. 25th MAA Gunner says 2015, 2018 were the worst windows. Check, Mustafi, Granit, Kolasinac, Lacazette. Now, I'm going to just pull him up there a little bit. When Granit signed, there was a lot of Arsenal fans saying, yay, we've now got that midfielder, Yeah, he probably hasn't worked out for a few people. When Kolasinac signed, it was, he's the winner of the fucking Bundesliga Player of the Year left winger or some shit. Yay, we bought him here and we got him for free, yay. When Lacazette signed, it was, we've finally got rid of Giroud and we've brought in a striker and, yay, we've got Lacazette, we've paid. So I now see it, and check's another one. Yeah, we finally got a goalkeeper. What do you want? I get his point. I get his point that they're probably not the players that we wanted them to turn into. But were they the worst windows? I don't think it was the worst windows, Tony.
Hindsight, I mean, the Czech one was seen as bad at the time, to be fair. The others is a lot of hindsight. And, I mean, to be fair, we wasn't even talking about the players signed. We were talking about the timing of them. And Kolasinac was signed really early. But I didn't go into it because it wasn't a star signing. But no, you're right. At the time, barring the Czech one, which was massively condemned at the time, because we all still felt we were short, the other windows were seen as decent windows. I mean, I remember we played Leicester away and we drew 0-0. And I sold a guy a ticket. I'd never met him before, but he stood next to me. That was speaking about the game quite a lot. And I remember clearly saying to him, I don't want Mustafi. This is what I said, not because of his ability, because we've had 3 months to sign him when he's been available and we've not bothered. So now, to me, it's like you're signing him because you're desperate. Because I think we conceded 4 the week before against Liverpool.
I left Mustafi out because of that deliberately. I didn't want Mustafi. I seen it as a very desperate buy at the time.
Well, that was the thing with me. Again, it was nothing to do with Mustafi, the player. It was if he wasn't good enough to go after 6 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, however long, why is it now like a must-have? Why is he a masterful signing?
Yeah, I agree. Mustafi for me was, it's like really, I think it was £35 million, and I'm like, and then people go, oh yeah, but Tez, it's all right, mate. He's a World Cup winner, and I'm like, really? Like, I just felt a desperate, and I don't know. The others, I honestly, I never thought that they were bad signings. At the time, I'm not saying, I think we've had lots of worse signings come through the club. Did these guys make your top 10 as the worst though, Tony, or not? For me, I don't think they do. I haven't done a top 10 list, but off the top of my head, I don't think.
No, they wouldn't do. I don't think.
Yeah,
but again, it's a recency bias, isn't it? Because someone's bad now, they're the worst thing ever, and it doesn't matter that someone was bad before them. Like, look, I enjoy it, and I hope he listens to this because I don't want it to sound like I'm talking behind his back. I enjoy having Addy on this podcast. I think he comes up with some brilliant points. Me and him go back and forward. We rarely agree on anything, but we both respect each other's points of view, and I think we both make good arguments. But he keeps bringing up like Mkhitaryan recently, and no one was saying let's keep Mkhitaryan, but now we're struggling to create chances. It's like, oh, but we let Mkhitaryan go. So again, it's recency bias. It's like who did I say about at Tottenham last week? We was talking about it. No one gives a fuck that they've left Eddie Ali out because they're winning. No one cares that Harry Winks has basically been frozen out because they're winning. No one really cares that Gareth Bale isn't playing because they're winning. Football is all about recency bias. So at the moment, they'll go, oh, Xhaka's the worst player ever because he got sent off like 2 days ago. But the day after the FA Cup final, people probably wouldn't have had him in their top 100 worst signings. So that's just football for you. People are going to say something one day and the next day they're going to say the exact opposite. And I do it. I'm not criticizing people for doing it. But that's just how football is. It's like, but what have you done for me lately? The king is dead. Long live the king.
Look, I'm not saying these players are great. And then in M. Dudley Gunner's defence, he is only a young fella, so maybe in his time of watching Arsenal too, these are the players that do stick out in his list. Where a little bit older, I suppose. That we look back a little bit further. I'm just trying to think of the actual worst signing that I can think of. And what's that fucking? What's that cunt that? What's his fucking name? Then went to Roma. I hated him fucking twice.
Javinho,
yeah, that's him. That's probably not the worst, but it's stuck in my mind because he went twice. I'm like, fucking hell.
the thing is with Xhaka and Mustafi as well is they're high fees, but I mean there's players like Andre Santos that was useless, Park Chu-young who I don't know what the fuck was going on there. It was like a marketing signing, but they didn't market him. Marouane Chamakh, who again it was free but on extortionate wages, played 10 good games and then done fuck all for 4 years. I mean, there's loads. There really
you could say
is
that
loads.
little Chinese bloke or whatever he's from Japan didn't even fucking just the full on marketing, throw money away.
Rio Miyachi, somewhere in Holland, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, what else we got? Russ says, where's this set piece expert we signed in the summer? Is he on furlough or set pieces are the worst? When you were actually talking about the open play and the open goals, I was actually thinking to myself, I was going to say, set pieces are how fucking good are we there?
Well, I mean, I think in a way it's a bit unfair because we conceded our first goal from a set piece this season. We were on the weekend. We were the last team to do it. So has he assured us? And we were horrific defensively from set pieces at the back end of last season. We got caught short 2-on-1 at every single corner. It was embarrassing. I felt like we were going to concede every time anyone had a corner against us. It was painful. So we've massively improved defensively. Our attacking set piece, to be honest, the delivery's been shite. What have we scored? I think we scored 2 off the top of my head. Gabriel, both his goals are from sort of set pieces. But again, the whole Arteta thing, has he been told to sort out the defence first and then we focus on attacking later? Because that's what the rest of the team seems to have done. So I don't know enough. I'm speculating, I'm guessing, but I don't really want to overly hammer the set piece guy at the moment when defensively we've got the best set piece team in the league, or the best at defending set pieces.
Absolutely pissing down here. So bear with me, and hopefully, it fucks off very soon. Russ asks, who do you think the mole is in the team? And I can tell you, Russ, it's me. So there you go, buddy. I don't know.
I would love to know the answer to this question. Like, I'm telling you, I say this every week. Arsenal was so hard to get leaks out of. Did I tell? When did we last record? No, I haven't told you guys. I told Schwinn on Sunday. So Arsenal flew to Dundalk on Wednesday, and obviously, if I know a weaker squad's travelled or a stronger squad's travelled, I can make money off that. So I DM'd a journalist that I'm in regular contact with, and it's a sort of a well-known Arsenal journalist, over 100,000 followers, or around 100,000 followers. And when we speak from time to time, and I just messaged him on Wednesday night saying, do you know who's travelled? Not who's playing, because you wouldn't know that yet, but can you tell me what 23 men have gone to Dundalk? Like, that is not inside information. You know what I mean? Someone could have just took a picture of them on the aeroplane. His response, no, I'll get in trouble. Arteta's going mad about stuff like that at the moment. So the journalists are fucking scared of their own shadow. They can't even say this player flew. No, Aubameyang stayed at home. Who was, I don't know, hyper. Pepe's travelled. Like, too scared to even say that, the journalists. So fucking whoever's doing it's ballsy, because journalists are shitting themselves.
You're going to
But if anyone, no,
you
there's
don't
nothing
reckon?
for him to gain. No, but whoever it is,
that's the right thing. There's nothing for him to gain. It's nothing to lose either. Just fucking throw it. And mate, he was just trolling everything on fucking Twitter. Like, he just taking an absolute piss.
no, I don't think it's Ozil. But again, look, you've just started something, because people want to blame him for everything. Like, when we win without him, it's nothing to do with him. When we lose without him, it's still his fault somehow. I've heard his name mentioned more in this losing phase than I've ever heard his name, and he fucking ain't even allowed to watch the team play.
Do you reckon it's someone like back staff or something? You think it's someone like that?
Usually, like, from, again, I don't know about Arsenal specifically, but from other clubs, I get it from usually training ground staff.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe it's a and this happens at other clubs, is why I'm saying it. It might be a youth player, but then you'd have to have fucking big balls, because that's your career potentially over.
You got nothing to gain.
No, it happens. Honestly, it happens at other clubs. I'm not
really
going to say who. But
no.
I get stuff from other clubs, from youth team players.
Wow. Brian asks, how optimistic are you that this summer will clear out the dross and get serious players in? Like, I often think about this, and I've seen the arguments on, and look, I'm just going, Darren and the boys, they do a Thursday night live, and they often say, they try and be positive and say it's a 2 or 3 year plan with Arteta, and look, if so be it, well, we're in for a fucking long ride. I don't know even where, and this is good segue to what I'm going to go on anyway. I don't even know where he fucking starts. Like, what players you build around. Like, do you build around? Obviously, you got to build around Partey, because he's there. He's your guy in the middle. Aubameyang, he's signed, so you're building players around them too. Gabriel, and there's probably your spine. You're building players around that. 2-3 years, boys. Look, Tony, we're in for a long fucking 2 or 3 years. Who do you bring in the summer, though, to work around them players? Are you looking at, okay, are you going to do what Roma have done, try and sign up these younger players and the next generation of stars? Or are you going to throw a bit of old school David Luiz in there and a couple of older Chelsea players, or Willian and things that we've done, which I don't think has worked? So I don't know where you go, mate.
It's always going to be a mixture. I mean, I'm not going to talk about specific players for the summer because we're so far away. There is a Euros if COVID allows it to happen, which makes things even more difficult. So I'm not going to go, oh, we should sign A, B, and C. There was a fans forum meeting tonight where Edu said it's obvious we're struggling with creativity in midfield. So that's what we'll be looking for in January. So you'd assume a 10 or creative 8 will be looked at in January. But I mean, you're right about, as you said, Gabriel, Partey, Aubameyang. I personally wouldn't, but the club are going to add Leno to that. So that's your 4 straight down the middle. Can't see KT going anywhere. Well, I mean, I could see better clubs coming in for him, but we won't try and get rid of KT. We won't try and get rid of Saka. Probably add Martinelli to that, and then you've got to fill a few places, and whether they do that with experienced heads or not. And that's just the way I see things. Someone else might see it and say, well, Bellerin's one of them. I wouldn't have him there, but the club might, and other people might. So then you've got less and less gaps you need to fill. And it depends what you've got. I mean, if you've got a team, and I know they play, this isn't likely, but if you've got a team that consists of a load of young guys, then you have to fill the other spots with experience. So say, for example, and again, this isn't going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. But if you had a starting 11 that contained Ainsley, Saliba, Saka, Martinelli, and Eddie or Willock, and then you've got to spill 1 or 2 spots, you'd kind of want experienced people around them. I'm not saying people that are finished and can't play anymore, but people that have been there and done it, know the league and know the ins and outs and the general direction we're trying to go. Because it's nature. Younger players go into their shell when times get hard, usually. The exceptional ones probably don't, but usually younger people, just they try and stay safe. So it's like, it's not my fault, I've done my job. And sometimes you need an older head to shake them out of that. So it all depends on the position we're in. And there you go. I mean, look, I don't even like talking about what's 2 games away, so I'm definitely not going to start talking about what's fucking 8 months away.
It's very, very hard, and I'm just going to tidy up a few of these other ones that have come in. Russ says Ozil, Socrates, Mustafi are gone. That's a start. Like, I have to agree. That has to be a start.
Yeah, I mean, what's happened here is you've asked a different question to what was actually the question. So will there be a summer clear out, which was actually the question, which I didn't answer. As he said, them players are out of contract. If someone Lacazette will only have a year left, so I'd imagine they'll try and move him on. There's a few others. I was reading a list the other day. Sorry, who did he just say? Louise? Oh, he didn't say Louise. Louise is out of contract in the summer.
Louise is out of contract, but you've got William, who's on a 3-year contract as well.
But I mean, I'm talking about the clear out, which is what Brian asked. And there's a lot of, as I said, there's a lot of players that like if you look at Ozil, Socrates, Mustafi, and Louise, that's probably nearly $1 million. Well, not $1 million, but it's probably about 700k a week saved in wages. And then you potentially move Lacquer on if there's no new contract. I don't know what the position is. I don't know if we're trying to get him to sign, but you move Lacquer on and you're looking at sort of 800k saved in wages, and that's a big start to clear out. The issue with that though is that it brings in £0. So now our wage bill's in a good place, but we're going to have to invest again because again, we're unlikely to make any decent money off fans this season. The TV money is as is. So now not only is there no money for investment, they've also the money, their earnings gone down because I think the Emirates makes about roughly 4 million a game, and then you've got the contracts for like the catering at the stadium, so all the kiosks that sell your food, your drink, your beer. I'm assuming that the companies that usually pay for that are not going to be anymore because there's no fans there, so they can't open. So there's a lot of money lost, and the clear out's a difficult one because are the Cronkies going to throw in 200 million? Probably not.
I'm going to go down that path now. And you know, one thing that I've seen though, and Arteta out, he's trending every day, especially after a loss. Look, and I've made it no secret. I think he's inexperienced. My views, and that's my views. I think he's inexperienced young manager who Arsenal has. It's just way too big a task for the poor bugger. I nothing against Arteta. You are an ex-player. Yes, we'll give you plenty of time. You know, I've said it plenty of times. If his name was Emery or something else, well, he probably has gone by now. So that's my feelings, right? But one thing I have noticed is I haven't noticed many mentioned Cronkies, and I haven't put the blame there. And I was talking to a mate of mine last week, and he actually said to me, he said, I feel sorry for you blokes. And I said, yeah, why is that? He said, well, not only that you're losing all these games, you have a young, inexperienced manager who he rates. He said, I rate him. You have owners, though, who aren't putting nothing into the club. They're putting zero, zilch. They want to run this self-sufficient club that is not getting results, and it's the last 4 years. It's slipped from Champions League to Europa League to, fuck me, you can really say relegation as it stands today. Let's hope we're not talking about that at the end of the year. And I thought, I can get your point, like we do have owners who they haven't been the scapegoat as much. Arteta is pretty much the scapegoat. And don't get me wrong, I stick to my guns. I think it's too big a job for Arteta. Arsenal are just way too big a job. But your thoughts around that, Tony? Like, it's toxic from the top down, but where does it start? Does the Cronkies go, okay, we've got to do this. This is how we've got to go. We've got to inject 200 million into this club. We've got to support the manager. We've got to get this shit fucking sorted because we are 15th on the ladder. We aren't far from relegation, and we don't look anywhere near as good as the teams above us.
I've had this argument so many times with so many different people, and I'm in the minority with my answer here. So I'm not saying I'm speaking for everyone. I think the Cronkies get too harsh a press, to be honest. I think they get blamed way more than they should. Early years, the blame was fair. I think since they've become sole owners, look, for them it is a business, and I understand that's what people get pissed off about because they want the owners to love and have the passion for the club like we do. But it's a very old narrative. In the 70s and 80s, maybe that was possible. I mean, no more. It doesn't really exist anymore. No one. They're all businesses. I think the Premier League's gone from 20 football clubs to arguably 20 businesses. And look, they don't know a thing about football, which they openly confess to. So they put people in place that are meant to. They have backed us with money. It's as simple as that. The last two windows, we've spent a lot without really getting anything in. We haven't made a substantial sale for Iwobi, maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain before that. So we haven't really made any big sales. And each year, that Iwobi year, we spent more. And the year before that, we spent more. This year, we didn't let anyone go and spent. So for me, as I said, they get a lot of negativity, and I understood some of it, a lot of it in the early days, because they weren't funding the club because it would have made the share price higher. So then when they wanted to buy 100%, it'd have been more expensive through their own doing. And as a business, that makes a load of sense, but that's not what we want to see as fans. But now, since they've had sole ownership, instead, I think the criticism, personally, I think the criticism they get is very unfair.
Yeah, but how do you have an investment, and they have an investment with Arsenal. They want Arsenal to succeed, and Russ says, I agree. Cronkies were never going to invest while they were just majority shareholders. Why would they do anything to better the club whilst Usmanov could profit from it? Totally get that. Now you own the club. You own the club outright. That's your investment. Arsenal's your investment. You are a billion-dollar company who owns lots of sporting clubs around the world, and a lot of American listeners will say, well, they will know how the Cronkies work, and you've only got to look at the NFL team. Some are saying, they're obviously looking very good to make a Super Bowl again. I think they were in Super Bowl last year as well. Don't
yeah,
quote
they lost. Yeah,
I'm not a massive NFL fan. Okay, yeah. But so you see them teams succeeding. I don't know what the method was to success, or what the plan was to success, but is that happening at Arsenal? Like, this is the thing I don't know. You know.
But I mean, I mean, the NFL is a very different model anyway, because their money's pretty much guaranteed through funding through the league. It's everything shared equally. There's no relegation, obviously. But like I said, this is the thing. They don't know anything about football, so they put people in place that do. They got Raul, and look, whether these things have worked or not, I can't blame them, because they've gone, we don't know anything about football. Who's the best person in this job that we could reasonably get? Raul Sanllehi, basically run Barcelona for years. Yeah, let's try and get him. To identify players, we don't know who a good player is. What do we get? Oh, Sven Mislintat, apparently the best scout in the world. Let's go and get him. Husfami, apparently, I've always had problems with Husfami, but apparently one of the best contract writers or negotiators on earth. Yeah, let's bring him in. Like, yeah, these people haven't worked out, but I can't blame them for that.
Yeah, I get that. And they have brought in football people, football brains. So totally get that. But where do we go from now, though? Like, obviously things haven't worked. What's the thinking, I wonder? What's the regroup and going, okay, well, this didn't work, so now what do we do? And we are still 15th on the ladder. That's not going to change. And we've got no Champions League money, possibly no Europa League money. At what point do they go, we got to inject some money into this club and back this manager?
But I think they've been doing it anyway. I think they've been injecting money. And I think the more worrying side of the question is, when do they stop? Like, when do you stop throwing good money after bad?
No, but have they put in the money, like, is it the self-sufficient model?
Well, I just said to you, we've not sold a significant player in 2 years. And every time we've sold a player, we've spent more. So
you're thinking that money's dried up?
I'm not saying it's dried up, but I definitely think they're investing money. I mean, if you look at...
That's what I mean. You think they've invested. So the 45 million for Party this window, they paid it out of their pocket.
Look, I can't say 100% I think they did, but I think I'd be very naive to say that we spent basically 150 million net the summer before and without any player sales. Then in January, I don't think we sold anyone, but we brought in Murray and Cedric. I know Cedric was free, but it was a loan fee. Then this summer there was I don't know if there was any outs at all. If there was, they weren't significant. And we've brought in Partey for 45 million, Willian free, but on a big contract, Gabriel for a lot of money, and we only really sold Martinez. So, like, I think, again, people that will dislike them, that will say, oh, yeah, that was money the club had anyway. I don't know neither here nor there whether the club had that money or it was their money. But I think it'd be quite naive to assume they haven't put a penny in when I've just named probably 300 million of incomings and 20 million worth of outgoings.
Yeah, okay. No, cool. Fair enough. So a DM did come in from Lee. Evening, Tony. Was just interested to hear your opinion on Arteta and his future. When do you say enough is enough? I was really impressed by his rhetoric and the start he made. The way we played against Chelsea despite losing when he first came in really excited me. Intensively excited, pressing, etc. And then we obviously started to sit back against the big sides and sneak victories. Some deserved, others reliant on big slices of luck. But now it seems we're very negative and there is no aggression or speed to our play. We're now basically pass the pass to the ball to create an opportunity to cross. Whilst we have made additions as a large part of the squad, are players that have let down Wenger and Emery and now starting to do the same with Arteta. Do you think it will be a case that the board realise this and will stick with Arteta until he can get rid of the huge proportion of the squad over numerous windows and create a squad he wants? Or is it a case of the board deciding enough is enough and that regardless of the players, we still have a squad that is much better than the current league position suggests? It's a lot in that, but it's not a bad thought too.
Yeah, I mean, Lee messages quite often. It's a tough one because what I am saying now, and I've got an answer now, could be a completely different answer come the 1st of January. Look, I am not Arteta out at the moment, if I'm honest. I am the words I can put into it, and someone asked me this on Sunday after the game, is this can't carry on much longer. And so I can sit here now and say, oh no, I don't think they'll sack him. I really don't. But if we then go and lose to Southampton, Everton, City in the Cup, Chelsea, and then we've got a game after that between Christmas and New Year, I think. Then we're sitting on 1st of January and no winning fucking since October. And then the situation's changed and it becomes very difficult. As I said earlier, they had a fan forums today, and I think both Edu and Vinay both said he's 100% got our support, blah, blah, blah. So I really don't think they're going to sack him, but football is a very fast changing industry. And I mean, look, a lot of what Lee said for me is stating facts. We had one style at the start, which I think everyone was very excited about. Then after lockdown, we completely changed style. For me, that was basically because we dropped Ozil. We stopped trying to create through the middle and went to a more park the bus, back five, wing backs on the break system. And then at the start of the season, I don't know what the fuck he's done. But yeah, we've definitely had 3 styles. It's mad. He's been in charge basically 12 months next week. And we've had 3 different teams. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit crazy. So, like, I'm just thinking, and I was just listening to, you're dead right. If we lose against Southampton, Everton, Man United, and then Chelsea, well, yeah, we are 1st January of no win. What's he got to do, though, to, on the other flip, not get sacked? Like, if you beat Manchester City and Chelsea, are we like, looking positive here? Or is it a Southampton Everton, like, because City's not doing that well? Like, and I don't know if you watched West Brom this morning against Man City. They managed to draw.
I watched the second one.
Yeah, but like, where are we at? Like, because everybody's better than us. So does he, obviously a positive next week would be get a win against Southampton. That's definite start or positive. And then hopefully we can get a few victories on the way. But come January, out of them 4 games, are you like, we beat Southampton back 3 games ago, or are you might, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder where the board is. Oh, right. I agree. I don't think they will sack him either just yet. But these 4 games are very fucking crucial, and I wonder what's the game that highlights him to go, well, okay, he's turned this around.
I think they'll just want to see positive performance. Like, as I said, I don't think the board will have seen that Burnley performance as too bad. And I somewhat agree with them. In isolation, look, it's never nice losing at home to Burnley. We haven't lost to them since, was it 1974 or something stupid?
Yeah,
but
some ridiculous
that actually, ignore the result, which obviously you can't do because it's a results-based industry. But the performance, and especially while it was 11v11, was not bad. It really wasn't. So this game, I mean, it was like a free pass for him. But can this continue? And I don't know. It's difficult to say if we lose but play well, then they'll maybe give him a bit longer. Whereas, look, there could be a turning point. If we lose 2 games, then go and lose 6-0 at home to City, their hands forced. I don't think they can carry on and say, I don't. So it's an impossible question to answer. What is needed, because football's they're not going to go, you need to win 3 out of 4 or you're gone, or you need to, if you win 1 out of 4, you're okay. That's just not how football works.
Fuck you, life. Mate of mine, Manchester United fan. Come on, Southampton. Go and fuck yourself. That's about it, mate. I'm ready to wrap up.
Was there any other?
Sorry.
I think you skipped it earlier because you was going to ask here. Someone asked earlier, do I think he'll be manager on the 1st of January? As of right now, yes. But as I said, sorry, Russ, I don't recognize your name, so sorry if you do listen every week. But I don't even like talking 2 games ahead because football changes so much. So as I'm sitting here right now, yes, I think he'll be manager on the 1st of January. I could be made to look very stupid come the weekend if we lose 4-0 to Southampton and 5-0 to Everton. Like, so.
Yep. Just repeat that so I can put it in the intro. Come 1st of January when I do a new intro.
Well, no, do you think he'll be manager on the 1st of January?
I don't think so. No.
You don't think he'll be our manager on the 1st of January?
No.
Okay.
Because I think Southampton, Southampton, Everton, City, Chelsea. I'm predicting we lose all that. Okay. I'm hoping we're not. Don't get me wrong. I'm fucking hoping to God we're not. But you've got to be real. So I'm like, Southampton, mate, they're playing good football. Everton are a little bit. It could go either way, but then they got to win up. It's a good win.
Chelsea.
So I'm like, fuck, that type of threw the spanner in the works. Man City, I don't know where you put them because they're not playing that crash hot.
I mean, Man City is a cup game, so again, it's another freebie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was. Okay.
We can rotate and say we're giving the boys a chance and blah, blah, blah.
And then Chelsea. So I'm like, I just don't. I'm just not confident. Like I can't see a win before January, and I think the board are going to go. Well, we have to do something here. So I hope I'm wrong, mate. But like, fuck, we can't keep going down this path. Like, what are we doing? People go, well, I'll just be patient and wait. You know.
Yeah, see, I'm not in that camp. Yeah,
no,
I'm not in that camp. But I still think, as I said, as we sit here right now, given I don't know the future, I would say I think he will be manager on the 1st of January. Russ, sorry, I know you've just said great conversation and whatnot. What do you think? Like, you've asked that question. Will Arteta be our manager on the 1st of January? And we're wrapping up soon, so if you're still listening, answer quick.
Yeah, let us know. And Russ also did say, what about William being linked to beat us already? I'll get a shot of him and play Pepper. Yeah, look, I hope he fucking goes. Bad signing, but
I mean, he's not going to go. I would play Pepe. Everyone that listens knows that. I'd play Pepe anyway, but he's not going to go. And also, there was the rumor that a senior player had fallen out with Arteta, and then suddenly it was everyone. It was linked with everyone. Like, Louise and him have fallen out. William wants to go. Blah blah blah. And I think people have just they've heard a story, whether it be true or not. Obviously, I don't know.
Yeah,
and then they've just tried to make a story around it. He says he thinks not. Interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be a good. I don't like doing polls on Twitter because I do it as well. They just press an answer to see how other people have voted.
Okay.
But I would like it'd be interesting to know, what percent think he will be the manager on the 1st of January.
Yeah, do a poll. Like I said, I just can't see us winning the 4 games, and I think the board are just going to say, look, we've got to make a decision. I don't think we can. Leif asked, would I have Giroud back? And I would have him back because it gives us that other option. If we're going to play like wide and cross in the middle, hello, Giroud. He's been crying for that last time he was here. You know what I mean? Like,
it's Chelsea's top scorer this season.
Yeah, he's fucking going well, isn't he? Yeah. Always fucking way when they leave Arsenal. Okay, mate. It's been a pleasure. We'll speak again next week. Just quickly.
Cheers,
another
got a game in 18. Oh,
Earthel needs to start. Hamsel. Hello, mate.
We got a game in 18 hours.
We do. So we'll be back. We might do something Friday. Thursday night live boys will probably be doing something. So yeah. Anyway, we'll do something. We'll see. Might even do a Patreon only. People, you can get us on Patreon as well. Follow details on our socials. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thanks, Tony. We'll speak to you again next week, if not sooner, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you. Good night and goodbye.